This is More Than Reality podcast, where we dive into all things faith, family, and marriage and share that there is so much more than the reality that you see on the surface. Welcome to More Than Reality with Adam and Danielle Busby.
All right, guys, welcome to More Than Reality podcast, episode 51.
From the car.
And this is unlike any episode we've ever done before because just the crazy circumstances this week at our house, it's just been wild. We've had no AC for half the week, and the podcast studio is upstairs.
And it was like 90-something degrees up there, and it was miserable.
Yeah, and so
here we are, we're going out of town, and
my mom and dad are at the house right now the girls are at school.
Yeah.
But my mom and dad are staying at the house this weekend because Danielle and I are headed to LA right now.
Marina Del Rey.
So for the live action gala. Yeah, sure.
The Life Awards.
So we're on our way to the airport, which takes roughly an hour.
We got about 45 minutes in the car. So I dropped the bomb on Adam. I'm like, why don't we just film an episode in the car while we're driving? And he's like, really? And I'm like, let's see if we can do it. So he actually posted on Instagram yesterday or day before or whatever, when we didn't have the podcast go live, that, gave an update on what was happening and said, I got some questions, let's chat, whatnot. So I said, let's just film in the car while we're driving. And I'm driving because I get car sick, especially when Adam drives. And so he's going to go over some of the questions. So why not just chat and record it? And this will be our podcast for the week with y'all. Yeah. So let's do it. I'm going to focus. And so he's going to read questions and I'm going to chat.
But I have a camera mounted to the windshield. And so every time we turn, right now in an overpass, the camera kind of turns a little bit. So I'm having to monitor the camera, read questions.
This is fun. I feel like we're going OutDaughtered right now.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like car rides on OutDaughtered. Except we don't have a bunch of kids in the background.
But that's also a small world because I texted Uncle Brad yesterday and I'm like, hey, let's meet up. But I don't think it's going to work out. Uncle Brad was producer Brad. So, what's the first question, Buzz?
Well, I have a comment from, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Deanne Nelson Frickstad. She said, wow, up here in Saskatchewan, Canada, we're already turning our heat on at night. I can't even imagine. We don't really have to do that until, January in Texas.
Yeah.
And by then, you're probably in the negatives.
Yeah, and I'm we don't put the heat on unless the house is 65 or below. And it's mostly for the girls, upstairs in their rooms. So I love sleeping when it's cold.
All right, so this is for Patty. No. These are all coming from Instagram. So it's just random questions and stuff that people had asked. And let me pan this camera over a little bit. And she said, you may not want to discuss this, but I wonder if Riley is doing well in school. Does she still seem somewhat ahead of her age group? And so there's kind of been a little misconception with all of that. With Riley, yes, back in pre-K, Riley jumped ahead to the kindergarten class before all the other girls. And then, which didn't necessarily would ever mean that we would fully keep her ahead of all the girls. She just, this was just in pre-K. She jumped ahead. They had a kindergarten class. And so she jumped ahead a little bit earlier than the girls. We would have probably never kept her a full year ahead of everyone. But then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And things just got really weird at school. And I feel like through COVID, every kid kind of suffered a little bit just because of the way everybody was having to learn, in-home learning, teachers just sending stuff home with parents and, and hoping for the best. And so through that COVID year, it kind of everybody back a little bit so that, the year after COVID, whenever they were ready to go to public school, obviously they just all started in the same grade. So, Riley's there. Yes, she's bright and intelligent. Don't necessarily think she's like ahead of like to be able to jump to first grade. She's just right where she needs to be. And so that's just...
Yeah. And I think, as they're getting older, you see the difference in their academics, how different they are when it comes to academics. And, that's a whole topic that I think that we could discuss on the podcast is, how do you do academics and stuff when you've got so many kids the same age that are all different. But when it comes to Riley, since the question was specifically about Riley, she does well, but she doesn't care so much about the socialization as much as her sisters do. She's just more content with like the one friend or whatnot, one friend or two friends, and she wants to just have that one friend. And so I think there's times like at school and in the proximity, she just doesn't even want to hang out in like group study time or like table. She wants to just kind of do her work herself because she doesn't want to wait on anybody, or she doesn't want anyone to hold her back, or she just wants to do her own thing. And that's just a lot of her personality too. But yeah, they pretty much all are, they're either at where they need to be in some form, or they're struggling because of just, got a couple of them dyslexic and just like 504 plans, just needing extra assistance. That's in my face. Car issues. The sun is glaring off the phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard. It is hard. The days that we are in school, with them now, the older they get, it's hard.
All right, guys. So, yep, this is our whirlwind travel day. Our plane got delayed. There was a part they needed to change on it. So we're here at the airport and waiting on the other plane to come in. But for this episode, we want to thank Cozy Earth for sponsoring this video. And there's nothing more that I would want right now than to be curled up in my Cozy Earth sheets, especially over this next weekend where we're going to be at a hotel. Yeah, and we're not going to have our Cozy Earth sheets, but my mom and dad are going to have them. Yeah, so I'm kind of jealous. So you can go to cozyearth.com and order anything on their website for 40% off with the code MORETHAN.
Yep.
And so everything on their website is a 10-year warranty. And on their sheets and blankets and everything, it's a 100-day sleep trial.
Yep. And if you have had their sheets before, it's time to check out the Cozy apparel, because their PJs, their loungewear is just as amazing as the sheets. So thank you, Cozy Earth, for sponsoring this podcast.
Yep. Thank you, Cozy Earth. Don't forget, go to cozyearth.com.
Use code MORETHAN
for 40% off anything in the store. So go check them out. So this is from Marcy. Her name is Marcy Jo Yo.
You gotta recognize my haircut.
Yeah, Danielle did chop all her hair.
I recognize your new glasses. Remember I said, did y'all notice anything different about Adam? I chopped my hair off. This is as short as my hair has ever been. It is literally to my chin. Feels weird. I was like, you can feel my neck.
You get ready a lot quicker now, though.
Oh, thanks. I was waiting on you.
Okay. So this is from Marcy Jo Yo. Did y'all ever pay off all those hospital bills when they were all born?
Oh my God. I actually loved that question. I saw that one.
So fortunately, like whenever I was working in oil and gas at the time, I had really good insurance, and we met our deductible, met our max out of pocket, which helped us tremendously. That means like, insurance pretty much paid for every single thing. Like we only had to come out of pocket like a specific amount. And then, but it was funny because after like all the medical bills were done, which is millions and millions of dollars in medical bills, the insurance company wanted to come and do like a photo op with me at the office and stuff.
They brought like
for PR for them. Yeah, brought a package and some like gifts and stuff. And then a few months later, they dropped us.
Dropped the whole companies.
They dropped the entire companies. The company had to go find a new insurance provider.
I mean, I would too, but
we at least got our hospital bills paid for.
Yeah, so that I think, and that to say is something that I look back and I say, God, that is a God blessing right there, because whenever we were in that phase, and we're, thankfully this was before COVID, before insurance and stuff changed to what it is today, which is horrible. We had decent insurance coverage and it was pretty good. And however, it didn't take long for us to meet our deductible, because whenever I had to start seeing my specialist, I no longer am just one patient. I am 6 patients. So I am 6. I am a patient and I am 5 babies. So each baby and me are different patients. So I am 6 bills every time I go see the doctor. So every 10 and every 2 weeks, I am 6 bills. So you're no longer considered just like one patient and one bill. It's times 6. So that deductible got me. I hate this bridge. I just have to look at the car in front of me because it makes me so scared.
We're driving over the Houston Ship Channel right now.
I hate this bridge. But it was overwhelming just in that sense. Like, holy cow! Like, just to up front, just to get to the deductible was high bills right on top. But it was a blessing because what was to come was very extraneous. Maybe you say that? Sometimes my braces doesn't allow my mouth to move right.
Extraneous?
Like bills, like a very large. Y'all know what I mean. Someone does. Max exceeded. But I remember the babies were, so we met the deductible, and then before the girls were even born, I had already maxed out of pocket.
Yeah.
Just with my doctor's visits, because there's 6 patients.
Yeah.
And
we're going to specialist visits like every week pretty much.
Yeah, and then at 5 months gestation, it's 25 weeks, my 25-week appointment, I'm doing fine and stuff. It just got really hard to do my appointments and keep up with who is who, because they're crammed in there, and to keep my measurements of tracking each baby, because my appointments would take 3 hours at this point, because doing ultrasounds for six people, checking on myself and certain things for me, but also taking measurements and everything for 5 babies. And you have to lay back. I couldn't breathe. So I could only lay back and stay in a position for so long. After my 25-week checkup, my doctor said, can we just go ahead and get you in the hospital so we could monitor you daily? He'd feel more comfortable with that. So then therefore I am in the hospital now and have a hospital, bill. So we met the max out of pocket, which then is covered 100%. Insurance is covered 100%. So, certain things that I wasn't necessarily, or we weren't necessarily really thinking about, because there were so many things new at the time, we weren't really forecasting and saying. It was literally a day by day thing, day by day. living day by day and like, what is today and what's changing today. So whenever the bills started to come in, I remember they weren't even home. And I remember like the house is like overwhelmed and I'm pumping things. They're all in the NICU. I am discharged. I'm at home and like bills are coming in. And I remember, I think I stayed in the hospital for 2 weeks before I got discharged and leaving them, which was like so hard to do. But I remember looking at some bills and I had already like exceeded like $6 million.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. So if I were to guess, I know I could go back and look.
We also don't need to spend the
Sure.
entire life.
Okay, next questions. Okay. Next topic.
Oh, this is Mian again. When you recently moved, did you start attending a different church? Actually, no. We're still going to the same church we were going to back in, whenever we lived in League City. And honestly, like the church was almost like kind of an equidistance.
But it feels closer because it's almost a straight shot.
Yeah. It's really kind of like in the middle of where both of our houses are. Yeah. And so we were able to just like still keep going and maybe just a tad bit closer now.
Yeah.
But,
it's just quicker to get there because it's, not so many red lights.
Still going to the same church.
Yeah.
We go to One Life Houston in Webster, Texas.
I've been seeing a lot of people do. I don't think I would do this for like every episode of OutDaughtered, but maybe take like some of our top favorite episodes and we do like a watch and chat about it type thing.
Like watching.
Maybe we do like a micro like mini season of like, I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think about that.
Ginger and Jeremy do that.
Yeah, but I've also seen some other people do that, like
Zach and Tori have done a few episodes like that.
Yeah, and I mean we have a lot of episodes, but I'm not saying all of them, but some of them that were like that stuck out to us.
Yeah,
I was kind of thinking about that because I've been doing a lot of writing and like I finished my first like devotional book that's going to be coming out and I was asking Adam for some photos. I was like, I need some photos. I need this family photo, like when the kids were little. And then we got stuck watching all these videos
and down that rabbit hole.
And it made me want to go back and watch some of the episodes. But then I was like, you know what? I feel like I don't remember a lot of those days, but I would like to kind of process and talk about it now that my mind has kind of like, it's different now.
Yeah.
So kind of thought about that. So would y'all like for us to do that? Question for y'all.
All right. So this is from Lauren Paul.
Excuse.
Could you talk about how you handle your daughter's independence as they grow older? Any other topics like today's kids, peer pressure, kids on social media, academic pressure of teens.
It's great.
I mean, obviously this move was like a big thing with like our kids learning like independence and stuff. And just like, you know, I've always said, you know, your kids
learning independence.
Your kids need to do hard things. And you need to encourage your kids to like stick with things, put themselves out there, don't be afraid to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Because I think from that, you know, our kids have definitely been in some very uncomfortable situations, especially being in the public light and all these things. And we've been able to like keep them very grounded through all of that. And, you know, and it's taught them a lot about just being independent, being, you know, not afraid in certain situations, you know, and yeah, I mean, everybody's going to get like a little scared in certain situations, but, you know, especially with like this move, putting them in sports, letting them try new things constantly, and then never letting them quit. I think that's a big thing. is
Like our thing is
they commit to something. And they say, I want to try out this new sport. And they
give them a trial day. We'll say,
let me finish my sentence before you jump in. And so, if they get halfway through a season and, ultimately decide that they don't like it, okay, we don't like it, so we're not going to do it next season. But you're in a team sport or whatever, so you gotta stick with it, because and it's just teaching them, like, you can't let other people down just because however you may be feeling right now. And it just teaches them responsibility, teamwork, and just sticking through hard situations.
Yeah. And whenever it comes to trying new sports, it's not like we're putting them in there blind at a time where we're like, oh, you want to try soccer? Let's just sign them up raw. Like, we go and do like, hey, let's go do like a trial class and see if you like it. So we're giving them an option to say, if there's something new you want to try, let's go try it, see if you like it, and then we sign up. But once we make the commitment to sign up, that just moved away. Once we make the commitment to sign up, we're committed for that semester or that season. And it's teaching them character and teamwork and, responsibility of, which to me helps them even within the family dynamic of being a quintuplet, because they too have to learn that they learn it in a team aspect, because at home and wherever they go, they always have like that team, that person with them. But we also teach them at home, not everything that you do, you have to do with your sister.
Yeah.
Right? But we teach them too, in a team sport or in group activities or other things, if you are committed with something, or even with a sister, if you say you're going to go do this with a sister, then we expect you to do that with a sister, because that's what you said you would do. Like, we are good for our word. If we commit that and we say we're going to do that, then we're going to follow through. When it comes to helping them with the independence, we have always tried our best to divide and conquer, meaning, there are times where you're not going to have both of us there. You might have to have a time where you are riding with another parent or another mom to go to a sport here or there, but we're going to rotate. And we have to be verbal about that. We're going to miss a game this weekend, and we tell them, like, we love you and we are going to make the next one. But what we're going to do right now is for a good cause, and we would not be missing this game if it wasn't for a good reason. We're not just missing to miss, And I forgot what I was going to say. Anyways, so we try our best to keep their independence, especially being a quintuplet. They try to infuse themselves together because they will always be identified together. So it is a hard thing to do, to individualize them. And as they get older, they are very different, but they have this handicap and comfortabess because
just always have
it's special. It is very special to be a quintuplet
experience, for sure.
So it's getting harder, but they're understanding it more so. And I think the sports is really helping them through that.
All right. Next question. This is from Deanna Shellhouse. And she asked, would you ever consider filming again? I would assume that you mean like on a television show with the network and stuff like that. We stepped away from that, hoping to just like explore other avenues, other ways of like sharing our story and stuff like that. Obviously, that's podcast. But I mean, after doing it for 10 years, It's a lot. And, a lot of things that go on in our life while we're filming, kind of go on hold, and it makes it difficult with just like other businesses and other work and stuff that we do. If we ever did decide to go back into it, obviously we would pray about that, and it would have to be pretty apparent, like God saying, you need to do this. But, and if we did, it would probably be in a fairly limited span, maybe a few specials or like a small series, maybe do some updates or whatever,
and we don't know,
but I don't know, whatever.
We only know OutDaughtered. We don't know what anything else would look like if there was something that ever came around. So we're open to it if that's something God puts in front of us. We want to be committed to whatever he wants to put in front of us. And we feel like at the time of us not producing and not, in production with OutDaughtered is what we're supposed to be doing right now. We don't feel like we're called to be doing that. We feel like he's pushed us to break away and to have a break from that. And that's what we've been doing, and trying to expand our story and our testimony and our hearts in different areas to reach different people. So platform and writing. We still do YouTube, but we're kind of been talking about getting back on to that kind of journey too.
Yeah, that's obviously there is a bunch of people that asked about, are we going to start putting stuff back on YouTube? And
it's just really hard as our kids are getting older, because we're not just a YouTube family like you watch YouTube families. Our kids go to school, and we're not just homeschool families where our life is around filming all the time. We are, a normal family who works outside of the home, who our kids go to school, we do sports. We just aren't the YouTube family.
Yeah.
And if God wants us to be, we'll pursue that. But right now we feel like what we're doing now is what he's put in front of us, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. I mean, a big part of YouTube and stuff, it was very heavy, a heavy load on me. And just right now, I just don't have the capacity to just pour so much time into it. And so I used to get really stressed out if we didn't have a YouTube video coming out that week. And just I'm at a point where I'm not stressing about it. A big part of it is we're not going to film anything if the kids don't want to. And so if they start asking a lot, which they brought it up a few times and stuff, and they run into kids at school that oh, we watch your YouTube channel, and they actually think that's really cool. And so if they ever come to us and hey, we want to film a YouTube video about this or whatever, we'd totally do it. But right now, just with the capacity that we have to do it, we're just, it's a little bit on hold. Obviously, all of our content's still up there, and we're going to leave it up there, and we're going to post videos as we can. But just right now, it's a weird season. We're super busy with a lot of stuff.
A big transition season, honestly. Which is good. I think it's good for us to kind of have a bit of change and a slower pace of adjustment of life. And so,
yeah. So
one or two more.
Yeah.
Depending on what the question is.
This is from Jennifer Brooke Boger. Sorry.
What if it's Booger?
It's not. It's not a U in there. That's how I would know that.
It's called Booger with a U.
How you spell it with two, but it's not. It doesn't have two O's. It's just one O. How or did you even address what happened to Charlie Kirk with your children?
Straight up total.
With Blake, obviously we just straight up told her. Plus, obviously, kids see really quickly, like in school and stuff like that.
Well, and they hear it on our TV, on our news.
I mean, obviously, we had our television on that day, and they could see what happened.
We watched the memorial service. They asked questions.
Yeah, it was actually a really good.
We've had lots of good conversation.
To have really deep and good conversations with the kids about just, speaking about what we believe in, and, not being afraid of your beliefs. And, a lot of the things that Charlie Kirk did through his actions and the things that he says, some people didn't agree with it. But you know what? There's things that I guarantee you, unless you live in an echo chamber, there's things that, your group of friends, well, camera's moving, quick, you're turning. Let me get this camera back. All right. But I guarantee you, like, in your circle of friends,
you don't always agree on it.
There's not things that everybody agrees with on every single thing. And that's what he was most, he was such a proponent of, is like, hey, yes, we all have different views about different things. Let's just talk about it. And that was the big thing. And so, just to convey to your kids, it's like, it's okay to talk about things. It's okay to have a discussion with somebody, because you may not even be 100% solidified in your view of something, and somebody's other perspective can give you some insight into, maybe something you're wrestling with. And so, I mean, it was a big thing in our house this week. We took the kids to, Charlie Kirk Memorial. We watched it on TV. It was such a blessing to see like how the gospel was proclaimed so much through pretty much every single speaker that went up there. And then I think Donald Trump just kind of went off the rails right at the end. But, for the most part, that whole thing was like really good.
I mean, I would say, Blake has been baptized, has accepted Jesus in her heart, has been baptized for a couple years now, and the quints have not proclaimed that yet in their hearts, but have been asking questions. And I would say that
we've probably had more questions than any other time this whole week.
Yeah, and the age that they are, they're 10 and a half-ish, so they're just really trying to process and understand like why someone would do that. But also it's just brought up a lot of questions more about like faith and God, but then also like hatred and mean people and why people do things that are bad, and evil in the world, and talking about the devil and talking about heaven. I mean, it's just brought up a lot of good conversations. And so it's been a heavy week, 2 weeks, but in our household, it's been very flourishing with conversations, which has been a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Which I think that would, that's been, the kind of the consensus all over the world. I mean, people that were either open to Christianity. I mean, there's people that were even, I've heard stories of people that were even,
I personally know people who have gone to church for the first time.
Yeah, that have returned back to a church or stepped foot in a church for the first time. Like, I feel like the message of the gospel being proclaimed all over the world, people are a lot more bold right now with everything. And it's just been really cool to see like how God is moving through, everything all over the world. And honestly, like before Charlie Kirk's passing, I believe, especially like our nation, United States, it was starting to move that direction. Yes, there's some outliers there, people that are just getting more and more emboldened and polarized in the opposite way, and vice versa. I mean, there's some far right lunatics as well. I mean, the fringe on either side is absolutely crazy. But I believe that, especially amongst young people, a resurgence in faith and stuff like that has been super encouraging.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to do the last question. We're literally pulling up to the airport right now, so we need to, and we're on a curve. And so this is from, her screen name's Mom to Charlie, Donna Kovac. Were you disappointed with, camera keeps moving around curve road.
About the curve again.
Were you disappointed with how OutDaughtered seemed to play down your Christian faith? And she also said, "Go Tigers." So she must be from Louisiana. So
The Tigers.
Go Tigers. Yes, 100%. Like we were definitely disappointed with like how. I mean, but it's not a surprise.
Not a surprise.
We weren't surprised with it, but we were disappointed.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever our TV show was on, airing on a secular network, I mean, look at all the other shows that were like kind of around our show and stuff like that. I mean, we're not on a Christian channel. So you couldn't really expect that. Yes, it was disappointing. I believe, many times Danielle and I would be sitting on the interview couch.
Oh, I'm getting furious. I'm like,
and we just get, so frustrated.
I'm not saying this any other way. This is my answer. This is my belief. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, because, obviously we learned over the years, like no matter what we say, especially if it centers around our faith, it's going to hit the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
And, it got to a point where like we would even just straight up tell them on the couch, they would ask us a question. The question would involve, hold on.
Our answer would involve our faith, and Adam would be like, "Well, I know you're not going to use this. You're going to cut it out, but this is my answer."
Yeah. And so we'd end up saying that a lot. I'm like, well, I guess out of anybody, I'm just speaking to the people at Post that are going to be having to sift through this footage, but I know it's not going to see the light of day. So, that's why we love having this platform and to be able to like share what we want to share what's on our heart. We're departing.
That's kind of weird because I'm arriving to the airport to park.
You're arriving to depart?
To park.
Yeah.
I'm arriving to park.
Yeah, but it's referring to the airplanes arriving and departing.
You're right.
All right, guys. So we are literally
Hope y'all could keep up with this.
driving through tunnels. Sorry for the camera movements. Sorry about everything. Obviously, the timeline and getting this up. I don't even know how quickly I'll be able to edit this. I'm probably going to try to work on it on the airplane.
Oh, you're going to do it. It's going up today.
So it'll be an interesting
It'll be a
episode.
surprise.
So thank you guys for tuning in to episode 51 of More Than Reality Podcast. And we'll see you in the next one. Hopefully it won't be in a car.
Actually, I kind of like the difference of it. It's kind of
I
out.
don't know. We may have to do these every now and then. So, all right. We love you guys.